because if you today have technical issues, you don't sort it out, whatever it happens, or you just prefer to follow me instead of trying what I do at the same time, feel free to do so. My recommendation is today, more than practicing at the same time, since I will go fast and people who know me, you know, I like to go fast on PowerPoint. Just don't lose yourself in the steps trying to catch up. Instead, try to understand and ask questions is way better, okay? So you ask me questions in the chat and I answer all the questions, and eventually you will have the recording in the LinkedIn group. So it will be very easy for you then to revise the steps one by one once technical issues will be solved, and you will have the time to pause the video and test the steps. So my recommendations for today, guys and girls, is do not try to necessarily catch up with me on the steps. Instead, I prefer you to understand what I do. So follow me on the steps. And once again, you will have the recording session in our private LinkedIn group. You will be free to join after the webinar. I will show you how you can request for the invitation. So what do we talk about today? We talk about Lean Presentation Design. Lean Presentation Design, you know, is the methodology that I developed myself, founded and published on online and on books. Lean Presentation Design is a methodology that aims to help business people, so people who make presentations for business, to make you guys to become more effective and faster at delivering presentations. Now, today, I want to work on the faster part. What does faster mean? It means that on one side, when we design presentations, yes, it is crucial to make our message to go through. Yes, that's true. But it is also true that we need to be fast. Why? Because time is worth of money, because nobody likes to spend a lot of time making presentations after hours, and because it makes no sense to acquire a new methodology to make better slides, more effective slides, better presentations, if then it takes twice as much as it took before. So today we will work on PowerPoint agility, and I will show you all the news of my tools, and with the main goal to make you way faster at designing your presentation. I will start immediately, right away. So let's jump into it and let's get our hands dirty. Once again, make sure you're all on mute. If you have questions, write.
Maurizio, you are in mute now.
Yes, you're in mute now, sorry.
Not yet. Maurizio,
we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Did you hear me before, or you stopped hearing me at a certain point?
No, we miss you a couple of minutes. You were just complaining about someone that was connected doing noises that I think is still doing.
Okay, grazie Marco. Okay, I think somebody muted me. Okay, so wrapping up, today we talk about speed in PowerPoint. So the idea is, in Lean Presentation Design, it makes no sense to make better presentations if you're not fast enough to design them. So guys, today, the goal of what we will do is speed you up as much as possible. We will do that in two ways. First way is I will help you uncover some PowerPoint shortcuts. For those of you who have done the Lean Presentation Tool training, probably you should have seen some of them. And second, I will introduce you to all the new features of the MLC PowerPoint Add-in and the new media platform. I've done some development during the last month, and I'm really looking forward to share them with you. So let's start straight away. Let's get our hands dirty and let's work in PowerPoint. You should all see my screen. Is that correct? Please feel free to confirm in the chat if you do. You guys see my screen? At least somebody says yes. All right, thank you.
Yes,
thank you,
me too.
Valeria. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Marco. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so how do I design a circle in PowerPoint? Because I can go to the shapes, select the oval, and yes, I can design an oval, but that's an oval, guys. It's not a circle. Now, I see people that try to fix it all the way, but the reality is that there is a button that I want to introduce you, which is Shift. When you drag and drop something with Shift, it locks the ratio of the shape you are designing. So when you use the Shift button, I'm writing the shortcuts in the chat real time, so you will find them in the chat if you don't hear me very well. So when you drag something with Shift, you see, you lock the ratio of what you design. Therefore, an oval on a ratio 1:1 becomes a circle. Now, this is very cool because it allows you to manage circles or squares or resize images as fast as it takes to perform a drag and drop. And you do that just with drag and shift. Now, shift is a very smart button because when you drag something, it locks it also during the movements. For example, if I move the circle and I hold shift, as you can see, I'm moving it horizontally. Or I can move it vertically. Okay. So the idea is when you design something with shift, you lock the ratio. When you move something with shift, you lock the movement onto an axis. Okay. The shift does something more. Since it locks something during a dragging, so when you move around with your mouse, you can also design straight lines. So for example, if I design a line and I keep pressing shift, the result is straight line. Okay, so you can design straight line just by holding shift button. Now, I prepared a few examples here at slide 4 in which I just wanted to show you that I can easily resize a square. It's not a circle, but it's a square. It doesn't become a rectangle. Why? Because I'm pressing shift. So it takes a second and you keep the ratio. This is a different case. In this case, yes, I do have to drag with shift, but as you see, if I just drag it with shift, I don't fill the circle. So the idea here is that I'm trying to do something more than just shift, because on one side, yes, I'm trying to resize the shape, locking the ratio, but I'm also trying to resize the circle in one step, activating all the handles. Now, if I pull it from this handle, the top left, you will see that it pulls top left. What I'm trying to do instead is different. Look at this, guys. I'm trying to pull it, keeping the ratio, therefore with shift, in one step, activating all the handles. How do I do that? I combine shift with control. So shift plus control. Okay. But seeing you cannot see the screen. Okay. Guys, is there somebody else who can see my screen? No. Okay, you all see my screen. Then, okay, then Basim, I kindly ask you to disconnect and reconnect eventually because apparently everybody else is seeing the screen. Sorry for that. Okay, so moving on, you can easily move circles around from one place to the other. See, from the left to the right. And you can do that. Oops, I didn't select the other. You can do that in following the axis, as you can see, I'm following, no, I lost it. But if I follow the axis here, you see, it's strike movement. It's a perfect movement. Now, these movements, I'm playing around with circles. For those who have been trained, for those of you who joined the implementation design training, you remember some of these tricks that I like to use in my webinars. I like to play with circles, but guys, the idea here is to save you a lot of time. And I will get concrete very shortly. Here, I want to create a grid. So let's combine this Control-Shift in one more way. I can, you know that if I drag it and drop it, but I keep pressing Control, so drag and drop plus Control, I duplicate the shape, right? I duplicate the shape like that. Now, of course, if I duplicate it pressing Shift, I duplicate it onto an axis. So it's like I duplicate it, but keeping the same alignment. Now, once I did that, I can repeat this last move. Now, you know that with Control Z, you go back. Control plus Z is redo. I'm typing into the chat. But Control plus Y, sorry, Control plus Z is undo. Undo. And Control plus Y is redo. What does this mean? It means, I will redo that from scratch, that I can drag it, drop it, and then I will Control Y to replicate it as many times as I like. Now I can Control A, which stands for select all, Control plus A, select all, and I can drag and drop them, and then Control Y them. Okay, so this is a grid. Now you might be wondering, why, Maurizio, are you designing a grid with circles? I know not all of you have done the implementation design training, so you don't know where I'm aiming. So that's why I prepared a very quick demonstration. Let's suppose you have to build a storyline, a timeline, sorry, a timeline. Now you're building this timeline. Stefano, welcome to join. Please, if you can shut your camera, I would be very grateful for that. So let's say we are building this timeline. I see people building timelines, spending half an hour designing this timeline, and then having problems with alignment and distribution. Now, I prepared this first step to show you that I can create a second step, Control Shift, drag and drop. Now I take the main block and I bring it down here, okay? So I created the minimum replicable block of my design. This is a very important concept in implementation design. We always think about the minimum replicable block because normally what we do is first we design the minimum block and then we replicate the block as many times as possible with the Control Shift. So the idea of using Control Shift implementations is to automate when you replicate things. I will position these a bit closer here, for example. And then this is my block. I will just drag and drop it, Control Shift, Control Y. And now my timeline is basically ready. It took me like 10 seconds to do that, eventually less. But as you can see, now everything is properly arranged. One more trick that I want to share with you is the following one. As you can see here, I have all the layers which are not properly arranged. And this is because some layers are on top, some others are on the bottom. They're not perfectly arranged. Now in PowerPoint, there is a panel which is called, nobody knows, I don't know why, but it's very interesting, guys. So take note of this. I will screenshot it for you. Actually, let me send you a print screen into the chat so you know where it is. This is the selection pane. When you go to the selection pane, you rearrange the layers. You see here I have all my layers. I can just easily rearrange my layers, and here you go. Everything is now in order. Now, why is this comfortable and usable? It's a very powerful panel because many times I know you guys work with very complex slides. I have worked with many of you, in different corporates, and I know that your slides sometimes get so crowded, so complicated, so full of things that it becomes tough to go and find things around the PowerPoint. So when you work with the layers panel, it's very, very comfortable to pick a layer that maybe is somewhere behind, and you can bring it to the top. Okay, now very quickly, this is text. Align it to the right. Control R. Control R is right. It's Control plus R, which is right. Control plus L goes to the left. So I'm just sharing with you some of the fastest shortcuts, easy to remember, that I actually use most of the time. And to center it is Control E. So why Control R and Control L are right and left? Control E, I have no clue what it does, it stands for, but it centers the text. Now, what I want you to notice is that I'm not selecting the text. So I'm not selecting it. I'm just selecting wherever into the text box, and then I go left to right very quickly. Okay, don't waste time trying to select the text, and then I missed the first word, and I go back and select it again. I see people trying to select these text all the time. Most of the time, it's worthless. Okay, let's jump straight away into my tool. What's the problem in this slide? The problem in this slide should be very evident, is the fact that colors do not match. So if colors do not match, what do? Well, we fix them, but we don't do that manually, because swapping shapes in PowerPoint takes at least 4 to 6 steps if you're good. So the idea is to take this orange circle and bring it here and swap it with the yellow one in just a click. And we do that with swap shapes. Now, for those of you who are advanced users of the add-in, this will be very easy. I know some of you guys have been using the add-in for years, and some of you have even been sharing lessons on how you use it with me during previous webinars. So I know you're very advanced users of this add-in. Today I'm wrapping up some easy functions as well for the new ones. Now, here the problem is the color. They should all be orange. This is very important. Remember, always remember when you use my tool that the first shape selected is the one from which you source properties. Could be color, could be sizes, could be position. So I select the orange one, then I select the others, and then I make them all same color through this button, okay? So it's very important, is the first one that you select that replicates the color of all the others. Here I want to create a grid, but it's different from the previous grid, because this time I already have the circles here designed, and actually they're all grouped. So first thing I have to do is ungroup them. How do I ungroup them? Control-Shift-G is the American shortcut. Control-Shift-G, Control plus Shift plus G is ungroup. For those of you who have PowerPoint in Italian, it's Control plus Shift plus H. Okay, this is for my Italian friends. Okay, now how do we grid them? Well, we go grid, we go column, 3 column, 2 rows, and it's grid. Now Control G, I can group them, I can center them. As you see, I have my quick access toolbar here. I won't talk about quick access toolbar here, but I do normally in the webinar, so maybe in the next webinar or so, I will tell you more about the quick access toolbar. And then I can resize, and then I ungroup, and my slide is ready. Sometimes it might happen that you have to replace an icon within a grid. So in this case, first remember you have to apply the same size, and only afterwards you swap. If the image gets deformed, not worries, go to the crop tab and fill. Okay, guys, just follow me. Don't get lost. If you are not advanced, you don't follow me as so fast. Just try to understand what I'm doing, see and pick up the things that are most useful for you, and then you will have the recording in the group, so no worries at all. And at the end, I will stop by for some questions. In this case, I have crooked lines. I will quickly select them all. You see, I press Shift to select all of them, and then I can rectify them in a click with the rectify lines. So this is the button that I actually love. I'm completely addicted to this. It saves me a lot of time. So the idea here is to rectify all the lines on the go. I can make same size also for images. As you can see, once again, I select the first one, which is tiramisu, and then I apply the same sizes to all the others. Why am I showing you this? Because as you can see, images are not deformed. Why they're not deformed? Because when you're working with pictures, the make same size understands you're working with pictures, and this helps you not to deform the picture. So it will just apply the same size to the cropping frame, okay? Yeah, sure. There will be the recording. The recording will be posted in our private group on LinkedIn. I will share it in the group. If you're not part of the group, we will share the link after the webinar in the chat, and you'll be able to request the invitation. Okay, now I can do the same size also on charts. Here, very quick, very fast. I can align them. I will use alignments, and then I can stack them. Oops, I lost the second one, and here we go. I can also apply the same sizes to objects across multiple slides. So let's say, for example, this one is too big, and I wanted the same size of this one. So I can do copy size, and I can apply these sizes to the other one in the other slide. And I work with alignment, and the slide is fixed. Okay. For the stack, we have horizontal stacks and vertical stack. They basically stack objects. I don't know how to say it better, but the idea is like you're distributing them with a zero value, okay? I use it often with processes. So for example, I can stack them all the activities in a process, especially if I'm working with roadmaps, and then I can add some space with the advanced distribution. You see from here, this is advanced distribution. Now I can regulate the space in between the shapes. Now this is a very innovative function because in PowerPoint, yes, you can distribute shapes, but you guys cannot control the space in between the shapes, okay? Okay, now I don't know if it ever happened to you, but you know that when you move from one slide to the other, sometimes what happens is that you get these objects that jump from one position to the other. They're not perfectly aligned from one slide to the other. Now, when this happens, this is mainly because these objects, of course, don't have the same alignment. The problem is that I see people, they start trying to move the objects around, and they go back to the previous slide, and then they come back to the next slide, and then they go back and forth all the time because they try to align them. This makes them waste a lot of time. Now, there is a button that I invented, which is like a copy-paste. You know, the copy-paste, Control-C, Control-V. But instead of copy-pasting the object itself, it copies the position. You see, this is the button. I can copy the position of something, and then I will apply the position to something else. This is very powerful. Why? It is very powerful because now I can move from one slide to the other, and the objects are perfectly aligned. So you can see consistency across your presentation. Now, this is a very powerful function. It's a new function. The way it works, it aligns the anchor point top left, which is this one that I'm pointing out here for you, this anchor point. And in fact, if you observe carefully the button, you guys will see that the black dot here is the dot that represents the anchor point that I'm aligning. So the idea is that button has coordinates, X and Y on a slide, and they will be the same on the next slide when you paste the position. Now, this is all to say that it's very smart if you also align the sizes before you align the position, so that you have two objects of the same size and then they have the same position. This will help you a lot. Now, let me jump straight away to the cases. Just one more button. Imagine you have these three slides, okay, in your presentation, slide 23, 24, and 25. And I asked you, hey guys, can you please send me these 3 slides? Or actually, let's do the opposite. Since I do have the slides, it will be easier. Let's suppose you guys tell me, okay, Maurizio, can you please send us these 3 slides? And I tell you, okay, guys, I will send you the PowerPoint. And you tell me, no, we don't want the entire PowerPoint. We just want these 3 slides. Okay, that's feasible. I can send you these 3 slides because I have a button here that is called Save Active Slides. Now, what does the Save Active Slide do? The Save Active Slide is a very powerful button because it's like a save as. So you see, it's a save as. But instead of saving the PowerPoint, it will save only the active slides into a new file. Okay, so it's like a save as, but it extracts only the slides that you selected. Now you can select slides around in your PowerPoint. When you want to select slides around, you just press Control and you click the slides and you select them. And then you do the Save Active Slides and you will set the slides out of your PowerPoint. So it's very comfortable when you have to share slides with people, but not all of them, some of them. Okay, I have some examples here that I prepared for you today, and I will solve them. Now, of course, I will give you feedback. I know that during the webinars, there are people who like to then retry the exercises at home and get my feedback. You will have it. So the way to get the feedback is solve the exercises. I will send you the exercises. And you can post them into the group, and I will be happy to comment. No problem. As I said, the group is only for us. It's a private group. It's not a public group. So you will need invitation. You will need to request to join, but I will send you the link after the webinar, no problem. Okay, so redesign a bullet point. Okay, we are in this situation. This is a ugly slide and not very effective. So the idea here is to actually redesign it. How do we do that? Let's first get rid of elements that I don't need. So these are elements that I don't need. Now I'm taking them out of my slide for now, just for you to understand. Now, when we design slides, we know, guys, that people are more natural. For people, it's more natural to read from left to right. Why? Because we are used to it. So normally bullet points are not the best way because, especially in a slide like that, we have a lot of horizontal space. And we should leverage that space instead of just using this small portion of the slide, writing from top down. So the idea is I can quickly split this into text. So if I split it, I use this button. This button is called Split Text. I quickly split it. Okay. Now what I can do is I select them all. I can grid them. Okay. So let's say, for example, I can go 4 columns and 1 row, okay? And it is too long. But now I can Control G, so I group them, and I can drag and drop with Control Shift, and I can resize the block. Now that I've resized this block, I clearly need to center it on my slide. So I center it, will take a second, you see? Now notice this. You see that sometimes I'm dragging this block, right? But the way I'm dragging is by pressing Shift, as I showed you before with the circles. Why? Because now that I center it, I don't want to lose the alignment. Therefore, I'm using my Shift and drag to keep it aligned. I can resize text boxes, okay? I can center all of them. And then I see that I have a problem. My problem is that the grid didn't put them in the right order. So basically, I have all of them from 4 to 1 because it depends on the way you select them. But I want them to be wrong on purpose because now I will show you something cool. So what I can do now is once I have them all on the same size, okay, I can just rearrange them easily by swapping them. You see, I can swap them as I was doing before, and now I have them in order. Okay, easy. You can combine functions. So this is to show you that you can actually combine functions. One of the most powerful ways to use the add-in is to uncover combinations. Now, I love when you guys come to me and you tell me combos that you discover, because it's very nice when you see when you actually do things that I was not doing. So that's why during the webinars, if there are users who are so advanced that stand out, I'm always happy for you to join the webinars and give you space to share with us your best practices. So feel free to ask me for that. I'm very happy to share the stage with you when you have something cool to share. So I will just reposition the icons here. I already prepared the icons for us to go fast, but those are icons that come from my tool. Okay, so this is a case of a design. Now I had two pictures. We'll use this one. I like it more. If I just want to use a picture, what I can do is I activate the rule of thirds, and I will use the rule of thirds. Now, the rule of thirds is a rule that helps me to split the slide in design. I won't stop on the rule of thirds today, but I will tell you that if you want to know more in the rule of thirds, just ask me in the chat and we can organize a dedicated webinar on this. There's also a guide that I designed, a large guide that I designed and I published on my blog, where I talk a lot about how to use the rule of thirds to get beautiful slides. It's a very powerful rule. We used to call it the golden rule. It's a golden rule for us in presentation design. It's very powerful. Now, you have a button to activate or deactivate it, okay? Now that I used it, I positioned my image. The image stands out too much, so I can create an overlay on top of it. I will make it the same size, and then I will make sure that they are perfectly aligned. Now that it is overlapped, I will just give it a color and make it transparent. And by regulating the transparency, I can create a contrast. So it's elegant, and at the same time, it reduces the contrast and allows me to make my text stand out. Okay. I can also color the icons. If I like, or eventually I can use a Control-Shift-G to split the icons. You can ungroup the icons, especially my icons, and you can color them the way you prefer. Now, this is not black magic. I'm just ungrouping the icons, and I can customize them the way I prefer. Okay. Where do we actually find these icons? We find the icons in the MLC tool. So MLC has assets. Now, how do the assets work? As you can see here, I'm using my icons. So we design a lot of icons, and you can look for them. So for example, let's say I'm looking for a home. You look for home, you have our homes. So the idea is we design a lot of icons. Why? Because yes, you can source icons online, but the way we design our icons is manually, and all our icons, they have our own style. So those are, let's say, lean icons. We like to define them so. And therefore, you get them all for free within the tool. Feel free to use them. I will enrich them. We keep designing new icons all the time. So we just put them here for you guys to be used. All our icons are vectors. So you need to have a PowerPoint with vector graphic enhanced. Every new version of PowerPoint does it. It's nothing special. And you can ungroup them twice, and then you can customize them. So our icons are highly customizable for you. Use them really the way you prefer, and leverage them as much as you like. Okay. You don't only have icons, you also have images. Anita is asking us, the numbers in the text cells are still needed. No, they're not necessarily needed. You can get rid of them, or you can do something even nicer. For example, I could create numbers. This is a good tip. Thank you, Anita. I can also create numbers here, for example. So I could make them white. Let me create something for you. I can do them bold. I'm improvising, so let's see what happens. So I could put them here. For example, this could be 1, 2. You see, Control-Shift. Once again, it's very, very useful shortcut. That's why I always spend a lot of time to share with you how that works, because it saves you a ton of time, guys, ton of time, so as well. Okay, so I could basically get rid of the numbers from here. This could be another opportunity. Make sure everything is, of course, well aligned, especially when you redesign or play around with things. This could be grouped, Control G, then I realign everything, make sure everything is perfectly aligned. Okay, and so I could, yeah, I could bring my design one step ahead. Thank you, Anita, for the suggestion. This could be a way to improve it. And those keywords could be a bit stronger, bolder. Okay, I was showing you the images. You have here the images. Okay, you have plenty of images. We partnered with the top stock pictures portals. We are the add-in on the market with more partnership. So we have 3 active partnerships with Pixabay, Unsplash, and Pexels, and this is very good for all of us because we get millions, literally millions of images completely for free, and those images are free from copyrights, and you can use them. Oops, I have to look for them first, and you can use them as much as you really want. Okay. Millions of images, high resolution, straight away in PowerPoint. Takes a second to import them. Don't drag them, but just. I also put maps. This is also something that is quite recent. Make sure that you have nothing in the search bar if you want to look for them. So for example, I can import the Australian map. You see, I go to the select panel, selection pane, and I have all the regions organized by region name. I will hide them. Region name are the text labels. Okay, so for you to understand, I can move them around. You see, I just put all the labels and group them and renamed all the regions of the countries. But normally I hide them, so I have the mute map. And now here I can select the regions that I like, and I can apply a color onto that. You have maps for all the countries of the world. I renamed all the regions of all the countries all over the world. So, and then reorder them one by one alphabetically in the layers. So you really have a powerful tool for maps here. You have timelines and agenda. We are designing new templates for you. This also is a recent introduction. The idea is we create templates that you can reuse and customize. So this, you see, is highly customizable. You really can do whatever you want. So we create them for you for timelines. We create agendas for you. And those are very powerful because you start from something that is already beautifully designed. So basically you reuse our design into your presentations. And then you can adapt it to your needs. Images, maps, timelines, agendas. We are working on new templates, but I won't tell you what we're working on, but very soon you will get new things. And we always populate all of these. In the license that you have got, for those of you who already have the license, you will get all of them for free. All the upgrades are included in the license. But we keep developing new things all year round. And then you have a corporate tab. Now, what is a corporate tab? Corporate tab, for the corporate users today, you have your corporate assets here. So assets from your corporates or assets that you can add to the library. I will show you how you do that. These are my corporate assets. For example, I have my logos of my companies or things that my colleagues put into these folders, but I can also create my own folders. And this is the biggest news of the day. Why? Because most of you have used the platform, but a few of you guys know that now in the platform, you can create your own folders. So the idea here is, you know, when you have all these media assets and you collect them somewhere on a folder in your shared drive somewhere else, the idea is now you don't need them to be everywhere on your hard drive, but you can upload them into the platform. And if you cultivate your library, you will always have your library updated, which is very cool because it will save you a lot of time. Okay, how do you do that? See, these are my icons, for example. I can import them quickly and customize the timeline. So you see, you can use these tools all together, and you can speed up your design PowerPoint skills really very much. Okay, so how do we design? How do we create our own folders? First, to create folders, you need to have a license. So you go to the MLC Asset tab, you go to Corporate, and he will prompt you the registration process. It's very simple. You insert your email, your password, and from PowerPoint, you create your login so that you can actually get access to the platform. The platform is accessible from the final button, which is this corporate asset button. So don't mix them up. One is MLC assets. It opens the libraries. The other one is corporate assets. Corporate assets is a direct link to our platform, which is assets.mauriziolacava.com. Now, let me log out for you to see how that works. Okay, you will end up on this page. You log in if you're registered through the PowerPoint. So you log in. Once you log in, this is my login. You can easily log in and you will get into your company profile. Now, if you don't have a company, you are independent, you just use the space with your own logo, not a problem at all. So I go to the folders, and here I have my own folders. We introduced new parameters. Now you can see how many assets each folder has when the folder has been created, and you can get the creator of the folder. Now we're keeping them secret. No, this is just because I created the folder before the feature, and so it's not recognized. And then we introduced the statuses. Now, this is very important. Status. How does the status work? As you can see, folders can be public, but they can also be private. What's a private folder? Private folder is a folder that I create and I can see myself. It's only for me. So to create a new folder, you go here, you do create a new folder, and you create a new folder like this one. Now, let me show you, then once created, you can edit the details of that folder. Now, the folder can be public. Public means everybody who is working in the same company, so everybody who is connected to the same repository will have access to the folder. Instead, you can say, no, it's just my private folder. So I'm working for a company like the Acqua di Parma guys today. You can create your own private folder, guys. So you know that we have created the Acqua di Parma assets and you can access them because they're all public folders, but you can create your own private folder. And thanks to the private folder, you can just have your own assets. Or you can do something in between, which is shared. What's shared? These are all my teammates. You can basically give access to your folders to your teammates. You can give them view access or edit access. The difference is if you give them view access, then they can see the files, they can see them in PowerPoint, but they cannot edit the folder. They cannot contribute to it. They cannot cancel files or add new files. If you give them edit rights, then they will be able to edit the folder and contribute to it. When do we use this? We use it, for example, for team folders. Let's say you create your own folder. You don't want it to be shared with your old company, but you want it to be shared with your team, for example. Then you can create a shared folder, okay? Or you've been working on a folder which was your private folder, and it gets to the point in which you want to share your own folder to the other people on a team, then you can start giving access to it thanks to the shared permission rights. So this is a very new function. The way it works, it will add here a new folder. You see, Maurizio is my new folder. Right now it's completely empty because I have nothing into it. But I could go to the file list, and this is my Maurizio folder, you see, and I can drag a file here. So let's say, for example, I go to my desktop, I should have a picture. Yes, I can upload a picture, and the picture will be uploaded into this cloud platform. Here we go. And then the picture will be available into the platform here. I will probably have to restart my PowerPoint to do that. So when you restart PowerPoint, then the image will appear here. Let me see if I can do that quickly for you guys. I don't want to shut in other important presentations. All right. In the meantime, we are heading towards the end. Do you have any questions so far that you would like, questions or suggestions? Also about the webinar, You know how much I like your feedback, because based on your feedback, then we create custom webinars. So sometimes you like to join the webinar and give a speech. As I said, this is a community in which we learn from each other. So please feel free to do that. And then I will give you the bonus of the webinar at the end in a second. So I promise you the bonus, so you will get it shortly. Give me a second. Let me, oh, here we go. Let me restart my webinar. My PowerPoint, sorry. I see chat. You are messaging me in the chat. Okay, Anita, you have 2 questions. Please write them, no problem. Share them with us. Thanks for the great improvisation. I gave you a heart. You deserved it. Okay, please, guys, feel free to write in the chat for any recommendation or everything, any question you should have, and then I will give you the bonus in a second. Okay, copyright. Okay, Anita is sharing a question with us in the chat. All the assets in the MLC add-in can integrate the chorus of my own template. Yes, you can. I will show you how you do, but I will tell you even more. So here we go. This is the picture that I uploaded in my platform, and now it's a picture of myself. Okay, but that's what I had on my desktop. So as you can see, the platform is real-time connected to your add-in. Therefore, guys, feel free to create your own libraries, and it will be like that. You will have all your assets organized in PowerPoint. It saves you a lot of time. Amrita is asking, by any way can we speed up or improvise animations? That's a very, very bad word here today. For those of you who know me, you know that I teach lean presentation design. Lean presentation design, we are literally against animations and transitions because we don't believe they add any value to communication. Therefore, I wouldn't work on animations at all because to me it's really a waste of time. When you export it into PDF, it's a mess. You lose them. When you try to edit them, you have a lot of numbers on different layers, complicated to edit them. So and they, in my opinion, they add no value to the effectiveness of a powerful presentation. Therefore, I'm sorry to tell you that I have no advices into this direction except not using them at all. Now, there are 2 bonuses today. It depends. So bonuses apply to everybody. If you are independent, but you don't have the add-in yet, you haven't bought the license, then you can buy the license. There is a bonus for you. If you have corporate users, you already have the license in your office, then this applies to you too. So I will show you the bonus of the day. The bonus today I prepared for you is this. Time for bonus. Here we go. So the bonus is, it's reserved to the first 10 people. Okay, guys, it's reserved to the first 10 people who will write to this email here. Okay, the email is info@mlcpresentations.com. I will answer the questions in a second. So we will keep answering to this email for 30 minutes after the closure of the webinar. Now, what do you get? You get the activation license on 2 computers. Let's say, for example, you have your MLC PowerPoint Add-in at work because your company gave the license to you, but you want it at home. Then you can get it activated at home as well with 1 license. No need to pay for it. So you get double activation on multiple computers. If you don't have MLC PowerPoint Add-in yet, you can buy, you will get activation on 2 computers as well. This doesn't mean you activate it for somebody else. It has to be your computer. It is connected to your license. So it is to be on your computers. You might have multiple computers. During my webinars, I often do that. I give multiple computers activations. And the second one is you get my book, the new version, so the 2019 version, for free. The book is worth 30 euros on Amazon. Some of you already have the book, but you might not have the PDF version of the book, the ebook. So if you do you I'm back. Okay, thank you, Marco. Okay, guys, sorry, I got cut into during the bonus moment. I'm sorry for that. The idea is for the first 10 people who actually get it. So the idea is if you get it after the webinar, and so you buy the add-in can be bought from our website. Kira will shortly share the link to the landing page on our website. You can get the add-in, you send the proof to Kira, proof of purchase to Kira, and she will unlock the bonuses. If you already have the add-in, write to Kira anyway. So to write to Kira and to me, we will be monitoring the emails on this email. I'm writing it in the chat. And then if you have to buy the add-in yet because you don't have the add-in, you can go to mauriziolacava.com, PowerPoint add-in. I will copy paste this into the chat. Okay, you go here, you can buy the annual license and you send to Kira the proof of address. If you already have it, text to Kira that you have it because of your corporate, it's fine. Okay, one last thing, then I will go back to the chat and answer all the questions. This is the Lean Presenters group. This is where you will find the webinar posted. So the LinkedIn group is here. Thank you, Nigel. You can unmute yourself and say something nice like that. You deserve a heart. You can unmute yourself if you like to say something, of course. You know, you're always welcome to join. So in the chat, I shared with you the LinkedIn group. Feel free to join. We will accept you shortly. And you will find the registration of this 1 hour webinar and the coming webinars. Let me see if there are any questions. I was commenting on the colors. Okay, we are developing. Yes, you can integrate the colors. For example, I do like that. You see, let me get a free slide. This is my corporate color. Okay, it's very comfortable because then I drop it and then I have it in a second. Okay, but also we are developing a new function that will give you all the corporate colors, all your corporate colors straight away into your PowerPoint add-in. So we are working on the corporate color feature. Anyway, for now, yes, you can add them into the assets, and yes, you can import them on the go. Anita is asking us, second question, regards the total weight of the presentation, MLC images, icon text gives extra weight to the presentation. They do, as every media. So if you have images and you import images into presentation, of course, the image has to be compressed most of the time. So you go to the image, you go picture format, you go compress, and here you have compression options. So make sure you always compress the pictures. Okay. More questions? No questions? No questions. Okay. No worries, Anita. Thanks for your questions. Okay. So, are the rules for to unlock the bonuses clear? Is it clear how to join the group, the LinkedIn group, to see the recording? If everything is clear, then please join. Feel free to do that. Vanya, okay, thank you very much for dedicating the time to us. Monica, too much information. Now I need to study a lot and try a tool. Monica, okay. You know me, I like to go fast on PowerPoint. I like to share a lot of tips because I like you guys to become faster and faster from webinar to webinar. So really, when you join my webinars, you know, they're not simple. We don't do simple stuff. They're quite advanced. I like to go fast because then you can always watch the recording. It's fine. You can pause it and get acquainted to the functions. But the idea is to make the best use of our time. So in 1 hour to share with you as much value as possible. Yeah. So you can get the tool. You can join the group. For those of you who at least are not already users of the tool and members of the group, because I know most of you and I know you are. So thank you very much, everybody. I will be here. I will let you disconnect, take your time, but I will be here if you want to ask me something or just unmute yourself and comment. I will be here for 10 more minutes. Feel free to do that. Thank you very much for the time you dedicated to me once again. I hope you'll find that you will put everything into practice and make me proud of your presentations. Anita, thank you very much. I'm glad it was helpful. Amrita, thank you very much. Wonderful webinar. I'm really glad of reading these words. Thank you, really. Ileana, grazie mille. È stato davvero un piacere vederti, anche se non abbiamo chiacchierato tanto. Anna, ciao, grazie a te. See you next time. Marco, grazie mille. Thank you very much. È stato davvero un piacere. Bella sorpresa. Hey, nice, buddy. Thank you very much. Glad you joined as always. There is no webinar without you, mate. Victor and Cecilia, I love that. Are you together? Great webinar. Thank you, guys. Really, thank you very much. I hope you found that useful and it will speed up your presentations in the future. Well, nice, you don't need it. I'm here for that. If you need some Italian, you know where to go and look for it. Okay, thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much for the compliments. I'm very happy you liked this webinar. I really hope this was useful and it will speed up your presentations. You will find the recording in the group, so feel free to join the LinkedIn group to get it. We'll stay here for a few more minutes and then I will close the call. Kango, thank you very much, mate. All right, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free. Join the group, or the promotion was not clear about how to buy the add-in. Hey, night. See you next time. Sure, mate. Olivier, see you next time. Thank you very much, mate. You rock. You deserve the heart. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you, Oliver. If you send us an email, Kira will be right back to you to check it. Okay. Marc, au revoir de Paris, ça c'était un plaisir. Je n'avais pas eu qu'il y avait un Français avec nous. Écoute, c'était un plaisir. J'espère que ça t'a plu. Olivier, tu es à Paris aussi? Ah d'accord. D'accord les gars. Écoutez, c'était un plaisir de vous avoir avec moi aujourd'hui. J'espère que vous avez bien aimé et j'espère qu'on se verra bien la prochaine fois. Marc, Olivier, my pleasure. Merci à vous. Ah, vous voyez, des fois, il faudra bel accent. Oui, avec plaisir. Bel accent, bon, ça sent un peu de Marseille, quoi. Mais je vais te dire, merci beaucoup. Avec les accents, je n'y arriverai jamais. All right, thank you. Thank you. Now I will disconnect the call and upload the recording to Teams. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.